Well, hey, you guys, welcome again to the Plug-in Duo. Boom! My name is Julio, and this is my wife, Christine.
Hello. And we're excited to be sharing with you guys my Volkswagen eGolf. We're going to be talking about the way it drives, the way it charges, and how I just love getting the most out of my Regen on this eGolf.
But of course, with everything, there are likes and dislikes and pros and cons. But anyway, stay tuned and join us as we take a look at this 2017 Volkswagen eGolf.
So one of the great features of the eGolf is that it blends well with any other car on the road. It's perfect for those looking for an electric car that doesn't scream out, I'm
electric.
Exactly. So to me, that was a great feature, and that's why I love it, because let's face it, when you're driving in a Leaf, for instance, even though it's not a fully electric car, but the Prius gets such a bad rap on the road, and the minute somebody sees an electric car, you're already a target to them. And what I love about the eGolf is that if you don't know about the eGolf,
Stealthy.
You don't know that it's a fully electric car. It really looks like any other car.
So on the eGolf, you may notice that the rims look a little bit different, but the reason is because the rims are designed for aerodynamic efficiency to give you the style of a regular rim, also while giving you greater range. So that's part of the uniqueness of the car, that they have put some thought into it. Just all the little things that will get you that extra mileage and that pleasure of driving.
Yeah, you get that full range of the car.
Exactly.
So another great feature are the emblems that are found around the car, and they're featured in a vibrant shade of blue. So it's very interesting because not only is that blue displayed outside, it's actually carried on the inside, and we'll get to that once we get to the interior.
To remind you of what the specialness you're driving.
Exactly.
In keeping with the clean aesthetics of the car, the backup camera is actually hidden behind the emblem. So what's really neat is that when you look at the car, you don't even know where it is. And the coolest thing is that since it's hidden, it stays clean. So unlike other cars that, yes, they're visible at all times, this camera stays cleaner, and you don't have to worry about somebody banging it or hitting it. And it's pretty neat. It's like, oh, where's your camera? It's like, bam, it just pops out of the emblem. But guess what? Also, the latch for opening the trunk and picking up is the emblem itself.
Yeah.
Boom.
Exactly. When I go pick up groceries, like the pay it pickup,
People don't know. They're like,
they don't know how to open the trunk. They don't know how to do anything. So I usually have to step out and open it because it's so well hidden. And unless you know, you don't know.
Unless you're a Volkswagen insider.
Exactly, you won't know. So I think that's a great thing too. But
the feature that I love the most are the distinctive daytime running lights on the car.
Yes.
So the car features mostly LED lighting with optional headlights. Our model is the SE, which has the incandescent lights, but at a later time we'll decide to see if we want to switch to LED, but something down the line.
Which is very fitting because it was almost as if the car was made for me.
I think it was.
That's what I love the most about it.
I mean, it's a sign. It's a sign. It has a little C for Chrissy.
Yeah, it was meant to be.
Exactly.
So. Part of the car's fun exterior and transition into the interior.
Yes, it does.
Starting with the sculpted and well-bolstered bucket front seats. They're very sporty. They do hug you. To some, that might be a little bit uncomfortable, but Julio and I will get into that a little bit later on down.
Stay tuned. And to continue the fun and sporty theme of the car, you have a leather-wrapped flat bottom steering wheel with very attractive blue stitching on it. It looks so unique, and it looks very sporty, especially from the time you grab the steering wheel. You know you're in for something. I
just love the grip of it. I love the feel of it. I love how it just fits nicely in my hand. This one has those right points, so it's very comfortable. Going back to those bucket seats. So the front seats also are partially powered for your convenience. What's cool about it is the front seats have airbags on the side. Now,
well, the great thing about the seats is that even though they're sporty, you still get that safety. So it doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice safety for sportiness. So that is a good trade-off.
Exactly. To complete the fun driving demeanor of the eGolf, we also have a leather plaid shifter with metallic accents, with a leather shift boot, also with the attractive blue stitching on the steering wheel. So if you're like me, I think that's a plus because
you want everything to match.
Exactly.
Accessorize.
I love when things match. I love when it matches. So the same blue stitching on the steering wheel is also found on the shifter.
Yes.
So I love that.
Yeah.
To also continue with the eGolf's exterior charm, it's the whole thing about being unassumingly electric. And what I love about the dash is it also is featured with these reminiscent traditional gas-powered gauges that kind of makes you feel like you're driving a regular car. So especially for someone who's coming from a traditional car, you hop into the eGolf or the 2017 eGolf, it's not that much of a change.
I think what my wife's trying to say is that when you get in, it's not intimidating, like, oh my god, all these gauges, all these dashes. It's like, oh, okay, there's the gauges.
Exactly.
It's simple. It's simple, except instead of RPMs, you get whether how much power you're using or how much you are regenerating and recouping. And by the way, stay tuned for that as well. But yes, it is very welcoming, and it's a very familiar place. Who says that you can't have fun without comfort for your passengers? Front passengers enjoy the convenience of dual zone climate control and rear passenger vents. Not common for this class of cars, especially this compact cars that, I mean, look at the new Civic. It doesn't even include the rear vents, and a car like this, the same size class, and your passengers have vents because especially on those hot days, you can be cranking it up front here, and the rear poor passengers are just roasting themselves back there. And the problem is that sometimes your front passengers may be freezing and your back passengers are like, oh, please send some more air. So that is a feature that I very much appreciate, as hot kids will turn into cranky kids, and no parent wants cranky kids. So very big plus.
Now, all of those above features would not be complete if we did not touch on that sound system that is featured in this 2017
You want your tunes.
Exactly. The sound system in the eGolf features smartphone integration, and it also uses Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. It is very convenient, I will say that. So another plus and another great feature on this 2017 eGolf.
And just how the car is all about efficiency on the outside, on the inside as well. Not only do you have that nice looking LED style all throughout the interior of the car, it's also efficient because, of course, if it's an electric car, the more efficient it is, the more miles you can put on the road.
Another great interesting experience about driving an electric car begins with starting the car drama-free. Now, what do I mean by that? For instance, no starter noise, engine, exhaust sounds, no shaking, and no vibrations. Then
after you started, lack of sound as the car begins to move. Having said that, the car is not completely silent. There is a speaker on the front of the car near the passenger side that emits a low frequency sound as you're driving, so it can alert pedestrians when you are coming special. What
I really love about driving my car is when you step on the accelerator, it makes you fully aware of the eGolf's instant electric torque.
The neat thing about instant electric torque is, and all of a sudden you take off and you feel like it shoves you back in your seat, that is torque right there. Unlike the specs would suggest, it doesn't sound like the car has a lot of power, but you know what? The car gives you the power from 0 RPM. So from the get-go, you get all the power. It's not like a gas-powered vehicle where you need to ring it out and then it ramps up to that amount of power eventually. The eGolf gives you the power instantly, and that's what makes it driving fun.
Instantly.
Yeah.
So the car's EV battery is located on the underside of the vehicle for low center of gravity, which helps the car's fun demeanor for spirited driving, better handling, and stability. And let me tell you, this car feels very hefty. Like I don't know. It's
well planted, I would say.
There we go. It's very well planted. Like when you're driving it and you're taking those turns, not only is it smooth, but it just handles really well.
Yeah,
that's
it
what
grips.
I love about it. Yeah,
it does. Now I'm sure you might be wondering how this electric Volkswagen drives. The drive is amazingly quiet. So imagine driving with the windows down in those warm and quiet summer nights, or driving through the canyons when all you can hear is the sound of the wind, or just a quiet and peaceful drive around the block. It really changes your perspective as how a car should behave and how a car should drive, and just how much you appreciate the actual quietness when you want quiet. In other words, the car can be as fun or as peaceful as you make it. So you want fun, electric power torque. You want all that quietness, you got it. So it's for whatever you're in the mood for, the car's got it for you.
Exactly. One of the things that I have already mentioned about driving the eGolf is the familiarity of the dash and the gauges, making it very easy to understand the battery level, the range level, as well as the speed, with an informative analog gauge featuring a small LCD screen. I do know that as the base model, this is the dash we have. The upper trims do get a digital display. They don't have the same analog dash and gauges that I have, but I love the gauges.
So one of the neat things is that the eGolf is a nice middle ground between the normal everyday Golf and the sporty GTI, while being frugal and electric. We'll name this chapter Convenience and Cool Features. For me, the coolest feature, especially as the gatekeeper of all the funds for the household.
Okay, calm down.
Anyway, no. What I appreciate about this car is the decreased need for maintenance, such as there's no oil changes, there's no spark plugs, there's no tune-ups. You don't gotta do any of that. And guess what? You're saving time and you're saving money. So for me, this guy, that's a win.
Exactly. Now, for me, that is what has me sold. And speaking of reduced need vehicle service, another part of the decreased maintenance is not having to change brake pads as often as a conventional car.
Yeah.
Which has the dual benefit of putting wasted energy back into the battery for more range and saving you the cost of having to change the brake pads often, especially in stop and go traffic.
Furthermore, the less you use your brake pads, the longer your wheels stay clean. I love that. So another convenience for those of us running always late.
I wonder who.
No, you. I'm kidding.
No.
I'm the procrastinator.
I'm the timely one.
Anyway, there is no need to warm up the engine before driving or heating it. I mean, I love that. It's like, you don't have to feel guilty as like, oh my God, I started a car and I didn't warm it up. Or, oh my God, no. You just start it and the air conditioner gets cold real fast and the heater gets hot as fast as well. Another of the benefits of driving an electric car is its efficiency, especially in stop and go traffic. So part of the eGolf's effectiveness is the specific and independent systems that do not need one another to work, therefore giving greater efficiency, capability, and increased range. On the other hand, an electric car uses only what it needs in traffic or the car is stopped and you only have the air conditioner on. Well, only the air conditioner is drawing power. There's no engine underneath the hood that is working just to be going nowhere. Exactly what you ask of the car does exactly what will be working. So therefore, being more efficient, saving you money and less wear and tear.
Now, as a woman, what I consider the greatest convenience is being able to charge at home. Knowing that in the morning or the next time I drive my car, I will have a full battery, which gives me about 137 miles each time, without having to take the time and wait in line at a gas station. And let's not forget the capability of an electric car being able to regen, therefore giving me up to about 160 miles of range. That's perfect, especially for my commute. Up to 160 miles of all electricity, I have no complaints.
Yeah, and then
no complaints.
And then when you get back home, you charge the car, and next morning,
and it's fully charged, and I'm ready to go.
You have it again.
So as we mentioned before, part of the eGolf's charm is the unassuming look of the car that features the charging port where the gas cap would normally be. Charging is done via a CCS combo type connector to accommodate level 1 and 2 charging, in addition to level 3 DC fast charging. Now, I will be honest with you, we don't use the DC fast charging, but that's just a personal preference. We usually stick to the level 1 and the level 2 charging.
What is also great is that many businesses, they encourage shopping and offer 2 free hours of electric charging. From 2 hours of free charging, you get a convenient parking up front. And let's say this, tell me of a single store that will give you guys a free gallon of gas just for coming to shop at their establishment. No, happen. I mean, if you get lucky, maybe they'll validate your parking. That's it.
Yeah.
You're getting more and more stores jumping on board because they can see the exponential
the traffic that it brings.
Yeah, the traffic, exactly, the traffic that it brings, and that it actually makes a difference with the revenue and their sales. So far at the stores, what we have noticed is especially Kohl's. Okay, another one is Albertsons. I've seen that they have free charging as well. Another one is Target. I've seen that they are very big on that as well. They have because all these other stores, they usually have about 2 charging stations. Usually what I've seen at Target has several charging stations. So I appreciate that because they know that as more and more people adopt the electric and plug-in life,
there's more demand.
So hey, bring in the customers, bring in the chargers. By the way, if you guys see the other ones, please comment down below. I mean, let's make this a community thing and let's let other people know. But so you get 2 free hours of charging, and then after that you get the scheduled fees. And by the way, the fees are set by the individual establishment and depends on the rates and the locations. It may be the same company, but sometimes a certain location may charge this much, a certain location may charge that much, but it is very affordable. There's no hidden fees on the actual charger. There's a screen that tells you how much it charges per kilowatt or per hour, and it's no surprises.
But stay tuned. We'll go a little more in depth on that and what it costs us to charge our fully electric car as well as our plug-in hybrid.
Stay tuned for that further in the video. Ours has a DC combo charger, and if you want to level 3 charge, the car features a CCS plug. You remove the bottom section of the port, and that gives you the 2 extra pins for DC fast charging using CCS. And of course, level 3 charging is offered by various locations, different companies, but the biggest one, at least here in Southern California, but I believe it's probably the United States, is EA, which is also known as Electrify America, which is owned by, guess who? Volkswagen. So yes, I know it had to do because of the whole Dieselgate, but that's for another topic. But anyway, they're doing good things, and I appreciate that they're having a charging network across the United States that is freely available and usually convenient. Usually I've seen that they're placed around Walmarts, and I mean, you find Walmarts pretty much everywhere, so it's kind of like a go-to if you don't have an electric vehicle with a certain letter that starts with a T.
Yeah, but you know, just to kind of finish off that, it's great to know that having electric car doesn't mean that you're going to be left without locations for charging.
Convenient charging.
Exactly.
I'm using a level 3 DC fast charging. This car charges at a maximum rate of 50 kilowatts, and the eGolf can charge up to 80% in an hour or less, depending on how much battery you have left when you're charging. But it also depends on how many kilowatts the charger can actually deliver to your car. DC fast charging, also known as level 3, is the fastest, but it's the most expensive way to charge. So, of course, the most convenient because you charge really fast, but of course you're going to pay for it.
So as we all know, the easiest and most convenient and affordable way is to charge at home. And that is either from having a level 2 charger, which is about 20 miles per hour of charging, and that would do the job in about 6 hours or less, depending upon how much of a charge is left on the battery. So that option is as easy as it gets, which is plugging in to a regular 3-prong outlet, which is actually the setup that we do for at-home charging. This is the slowest, but it's the most cost-effective because you don't need extra equipment. But the drawback is getting 3 to 4 miles per hour of charging, which is fine by us since the car charges overnight and is usually fully charged by the time we're ready to go. But it all depends on how empty the battery is, which can be up to 35 hours. So again, you know, it's just the convenience is there. You know, being able to come home, plug it in, and then when you wake up, you have a fully charged battery. So now that we got that long speech out of the way, like all things in life, your mileage may vary from how much and how cold you set your AC or your heater, to other features such as seat heaters, headlights, and of course, how much full accelerator runs you do. The best way to conserve your mileage, though, is to recoup it by using regenerative braking, which is also known as Regen, which recaptures speed that would be turned into friction and wasted heat by the brake pads and rotors, instead being turned back into electricity. To take you further, this is why electric vehicles are much more efficient in city driving instead of highway, because of all the stop and go, which is many chances to recover some electrons use.
The Volkswagen features different driving modes to suit your driving preferences. Let's start with coasting. Coasting is best for electric cars in driving in highway speeds, but then also the eGolf offers 3 different levels of recouping energy, as Volkswagen has it on their car. But recoup is the same as Regen, just different labels, but it's the same. You can recoup and get back into your battery to take you further. You also have the option to put it into level B, which is the strongest mode to recoup mileage back into your battery. However, at the expense that there is a sudden and noticeable deceleration. So for that, every electric car is different, of course, just like every car. But for the eGolf, Volkswagen recommends periodic inspection every 10,000 miles to inspect brakes and battery health and the overall condition of the vehicle.
We just want to point out that an area where electric cars will spend the most on is on tires. The EV batteries are in a considerable amount of weight, which makes the car heavier, causing more wear and tear on tires. But in our experience, having owned it for a year, we have not had the need to replace the tires, as the tires have a considerable amount of tread in them left. Throughout this video, you're going to hear me say a lot, I really love my electric car. Really love. Anytime I talk to anyone, I'm always talking about that. I absolutely love being fully electric. And here's why. So the fact that I can be near maintenance free with my eGolf, especially, you know, owning a 2017 vehicle, maintenance would be very necessary. But I can get in my car and not feel guilty about checking the fluids for that day and making sure I don't need to refill anything, especially not having to drive into questionable gas stations or, you know, work in a gas fill up in my already busy schedule to avoid filling up either too early in the morning or too late in the day. And having said that, that is exactly why I love driving a fully electric vehicle. It is extremely convenient. It's the perfect car.
And of course, as a husband, I love it because it costs me less money. And of course, if it keeps my wife happy, and like the saying goes, happy wife, happy life. I agree. So again, we have 2 vehicles, one fully electric, which is our 2017 Volkswagen eGolf, and we have 2019 Honda Clarity, which is a plug-in hybrid, which stay tuned because there will be another video showcasing the difference between full electric and plug-in hybrid. And by the way, a plug-in hybrid is not the same as a hybrid, so stay tuned. again, from our individual specific experience, if you're wondering how much are the expenses when it comes from charging, well, here we go. It varies on usage, okay? The more you drive it, of course, the more you're gonna spend. But our typical expense for charging is $12 to $15 every 2 weeks. I mean,
that's the honest truth. Like, we're not fudging the numbers, we're not lying about it. That really is what what it costs us to charge this car.
I cannot be happier with this car. And by the way, that is not including my plug-in hybrid. That is just for the expense that it charges, that it costs us to charge Christine's car. So you cannot be that. For those of you who would like to have a more in-depth explanation on the expenses of charging at home or at a public location, please leave a comment. We can dedicate a video for you, and because the topic is a fairly lengthy subject and is very specific. So leave us a comment if you guys would like to go more in depth, and you guys can get a better idea as to the charges and how it goes. So before we go on, I would say thanks for watching our video, and for those of us still on the fence about not going fully electric, stay tuned, because there's other options like my car. Mine is the Honda Clarity, and we'll tell you the differences. If you want to dip your toes, into the electric, but you want to have the backup of gasoline, there you go. And that's why I said plug-in hybrid is not the same as a hybrid. Okay? Here's another section in our video. So this section, I would like to call it the WTF category.
What the F is wrong with the eGolf? So I guess I'll go ahead and start some of this, okay?
Because she would know better, and she's got a lot to say, okay? Because so everything, not everything is perfect. Everything has its pros and cons. Here we go.
So I love my car, and yes, despite all of this what the F stuff that we're about to talk about, I still love my car. But having said that, Volkswagen, come on. So why does the car shut off at about 10 seconds of the driver door being open? I cannot stand that. If I need to hop out of my car and go do something really quick, for instance, when I go to pick up my groceries, as I mentioned earlier in the video, people don't know how to open my trunk. And unless you know about it, you don't know. And so I usually...
When you know.
Exactly. And if you don't know, you don't know. So I usually have to get out. And as soon as the driver door is open on the eGolf, it beeps. And after about 10 seconds, air conditioner, car, all of
radio
it shuts off. So if the front seats are powered, then why do we have to split that and also have to have a manual mechanism to move the seats?
Man, doesn't make sense.
We just make the whole seat fully powered?
Exactly.
Why does it have to be partially powered?
Yeah, and I know my wife's on a roll, but here.
Yeah, I'll cool it for now. Let's put the brakes on it.
Let's put the brakes on it. Let's put the brakes on it and calm down. All right. See, and this is coming from me because my perspective of my car. Why can't you open the charge door with a button from the inside of the car? Because not only do I have a button on my key fob on my personal car, but I have a button on the inside by the dash to open the charging port. Why can't you do that on this car?
Here on the eGolf, when I'm going to go charge, once I unlock the car, when you go to the charging door, you just push the upper left corner, and it will pop open. So to me, I don't really find that so much of a bothersome, but I guess again, he's coming from his car where he has the luxury of popping it open from the inside. But however, with that being said though, it has happened to me when I drive his car. I'm so used to doing it my way
You're like,
that yes, I get out and I have to remember, oh, I can't do that. So I guess it's just whatever preference or whatever you're
used
to. Yeah.
But I appreciate having a button inside, but this review is not for my car. So
no,
yeah.
It's not yet. No. Now this one is going to come back to me. Yes, this comes back to me as an everyday driver of this car. Why does the trunk or the hatch not have a button on the inside of the car to open it? Because I'm pretty sure you were probably thinking, well, why don't you, instead of getting out of the car to open it, why can't you just push the button?
There is no button.
You don't get a button on this eGolf.
You don't get a button. You don't get a button. You don't get a button.
So is that because it's a base trim? Again, I don't know. But it would have been nice to just have a simple little button on the side here
so to
pop the hatch. Like, is that really something that hard to ask for, to have a button? So yes.
They're probably looking to the future. They're like, chip shortage. We're not gonna. I'm just kidding.
So we were first bothered by this next one, but now I'm kind of okay with it. But
it's all right. It's kind of like a half-half.
Yeah, it has to do with the back doors. Yeah. So we're teaching our oldest how to drive, and I was in the back with our younger ones, and that's when I actually paid attention to the fact that the back doors don't have an unlock button. Usually,
lock or unlock.
Yeah, usually you would get that.
Or something like a mechanism or something that you could put. Yes. Well, all you have on the back is just The handle.
Just the handle.
That's it.
So instantly, I kind of didn't like that because I'm like, okay, what about in an emergency? How do my girls get out, or my back passengers? How do they get out of the car? I mean, thankfully, we have a safety tool to be able to cut the belt and knock the window out, but still, we looked into it, and here's how it works. So everybody gets into the car. Front passenger and driver have the option to lock all doors. If somebody in the back needs to get out, all they have to do is just pull the handle and it'll open the door, and it pretty much unlocks all of the doors. Now, I'm pretty sure you're probably worried, okay, well, what if you have an infant or a toddler who likes to open the door? Well, you still have your child safety locks on the door, which would therefore make that option inactive. So they wouldn't just be able to open the door.
But at the same time, if it's on and you didn't know and you're trying to get out of the car, that it would be a problem.
Yeah.
That right there, that would be a problem.
Yeah, I guess I can see where that would be an issue, because you would constantly have to transition between both and make sure you unlock that child safety lock. But we don't have youngsters like that, and our girls are well over the age to not open up the door when they don't need to, so we're good.
I'll let my wife take this.
Okay. So again, this is my car. What I love about the eGolf is it's nearly maintenance free. Lots of places to charge for free.
Yep.
No warming up. Instant torque for sure. It definitely looks like a regular car. The hatchback body style is small, yet it is very spacious and enough space for what I need. I don't have to worry about any expensive gas fill-ups. I can charge it at home. It has a solid feeling and driving like a regular car, which is what I love. It is not as intimidating to learn the menu. 2017 was the first year they introduced the larger battery. And again, like I said, up to 160 miles for me per charge is perfect. The eGolfs are available with certified pre-owned and with a warranty. You get generous standard equipment on the base model. Yes, there are some features that we disagree with on this base model, but overall, I am pretty much pleased with them all. You do have a heated windshield, so on those chilly mornings where it's nice and foggy outside, I can turn on my defroster and quickly clear that up. The car locks the charging unit when charging, which would prevent any unauthorized removal. I love that.
Because we have seen that. We've gone to some other, we've gone to charging stations where some people really lack etiquette and will disconnect your cable so they can charge their car, regardless if your car is done charging or not. And with this one, it locks it. So, in other words, the car's like,
And they will leave your charging door open. They don't even have the decency to close it. They'll leave the door open and go connect it to their car. What I love about this car is that
it locks it in place.
So if they want to be sneaky and go pull it, they're in for a surprise because it's not coming out. Obviously, it's fully electric. And, the last one I guess I want to hit on is the car was made for me.
Why?
Because it has my initial. It's perfect, and I especially love my daytime running lights because not only are they stylish and yes, it resembles my name, but it really gives the car this, intimidating look.
It makes it look very interesting.
It does.
And it's very attention grabbing.
It does. So I really love it.
Oh, like how everything is good and bad. Chris is the good. I'm the bad one. All right, so here we go. It's adequate for in-town driving, but not for long-range driving. So definitely that made a con. Another 2019 was the last year of eGolfs being sold. So I wish
it would have been nice to see more of them on the road, especially a 2022 eGolf. I can only imagine the features.
I would love the new style and having electric, but now Volkswagen has pretty much decided that the ID4, which is an SUV, is their electric car. So I understand because SUVs are all the rage right now, but not everybody likes SUVs. Another thing is, if the seats are heated, why not cool the seats too? I don't understand that. I don't think it would have been too much to implement that. I mean, if you had cooled seats, it would have been a good compliment.
Okay, well, aside from the fact that, the heating and the cooling issue.
I love cool seats.
Yeah, aside from that, that's not something I really care for. What I want to get on, though, is that the seats, they're not as comfortable. Yes, they're bucket seats and they kind of wrap around you. But if you're like me and you're really into having like a comfortable cushioning seat, this is not the one.
Well, I think because they were leaning more into the sporty instead of the comfort. That's the only thing.
It really reminds me of those sports cars from the early 2000s, and I'm mostly talking like the Lancer,
Subaru STI or something.
Yes, like I feel like I'm sitting in that car.
Like a Recaro seat, if for those of you that would know, like when you get in, that you have the hard sides and it kind of like digs into your thighs and the other bits when you're getting in. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, so that's what it reminds me of. So even though the seats are more sporty oriented, They could have been a little more comfortable. I really think
agree.
they could have been.
So just like the seats, the ride can be stiff. The car holds its line pretty well, but when you pass over a bump, you will feel that, okay?
Yeah.
You will feel that. The ride can be stiff. Another one is the heated windshield. It's great because the windshield has this little tiny squiggly lines that they heat up the windshield itself, or like say like you're somewhere that is cold, this will defrost it. It's great. But the problem is that when you first start driving it and you're not used to it, oh my God, they are so distracted because you see all these lines going like this. First time driving it, they are very distracting. The key fob has to be in hand in order to unlock the charging door. Really? No button? Again, I don't get it. No spare tire. Why? Only a fix-a-flat. Again, I could go on and on and on about this. Again, every time you start the car, doesn't matter if you want it or not, the air conditioner will start.
It starts every single
immediately.
time.
So
even in the winter, the fan will still be blowing. It might not necessarily be the air conditioner or cold air.
yeah, but you're gonna get a blast of cold air. It's like nothing like being already cold and all of a sudden, pooh.
Yeah,
cold
I
air.
like that one.
So and also, if you're trying to conserve your range, yeah, it's not gonna take that much. But you know what? The clicking of on and off the air conditioner, that's wear and tear. Why, Volkswagen? Why?
Here for the last one, I'm going to be talking about the charging door.
Yeah.
Why do they have it in the back? They left it where the gas filler would be. That's exactly where they have the charging port. So it makes it very hard sometimes. And now, I mean, I'm kind of used to it, but as a first timer, it was very annoying, and it would be very annoying to constantly have to back the car in to charge it. When I need to charge it at home, I have to back it into the garage. Charging it at most public places, I have to back it in.
The cords are not long enough.
Not long enough.
Yeah.
And especially depending upon the location of that particular charging port, the charging slot, I have to back it in. So that's kind of like, why would you do that?
Most electrics, I mean, whether they're
in the
electric
front.
or plug-in, they're somewhere near the front. They're
It's in
either
the
by the
front.
fenders, they're in the front.
The Nissan Leaf we had it
Perfect.
directly in the front. You just pull right in. It's so convenient. You pull right in and you just charge it right there. You don't have to do any of that.
Yeah.
But here on the eGolf, you got to back it in. So
Beep,
it helps
beep.
with your backing up skills, because some people don't know how to back up. But
Tell me about
it really
it.
helps. You know, and I think I've perfected that now.
Yeah.
to back it in.
But anyway, this is Julio, my gorgeous wife Christine, and we are the plug-in duo. So until next time, we'll see you next time we
Plug in. Bye.
bye everybody.